In our last video, we created these two testimonials based on designs in Call to Inspiration. And this time we're going to change it up to this design. So we've got logo top left-hand corner, we've got our text block, and then we've got our profile in the bottom left-hand corner. For simplicity, I'm going to keep the same image as we've got on this one here, and they'll keep the same content as well. We've already got this section built, so I'm going to duplicate it. And we're going to start changing the format. So first of all, I'm going to take this image. So now it's no longer going to be a rectangle with rounded corners like a pill shape. And instead, we're going to go for a circle. So if I go to 1-to-1 ratio, we can choose the circular image frame option. So that's working well there. Again, that previous tutorial where I created these testimonials shows you how to create different lighting effects, but I still recommend using something like Canva or Photoshop to get the best effects you can. Just going to reduce this in size and then change the height of the frame. And as you can see, this is starting to take shape. Now I can choose this text block. I'm going to hold down Command and A here on a Mac and align that to the left-hand side. If I want this to align to this profile picture, I can change the alignment from top to center. And now we can see that's starting to look better. And we can take this quote and align it to the left. If we just look at our example here, yeah, that's starting to work nicely. I'm not going to worry about tying in the colors because ultimately this will be based on your own brand guidelines. What I will do though is change this section here so we don't confuse the two. So that one's on the grey background, this one on the black. This handle here will adjust the height of the panel, meaning we've got no extra grid blocks at the bottom. And we can go into edit section if we want to give it a little bit more breathing space. It's pretty good here at the moment, set to medium by default, although we can drop it to small, medium, or large. The large one is probably a little bit too much space, so I'm going to go back to medium, or alternatively, I can set it manually. And I like rounded numbers, so let's go to 60. Top and bottom. Nice and compact, but loads of breathing space there, loads of white space, so it just fits nicely. With that in place, let's increase the gaps between each of the rows. So I'm going to have that below it, but I might want to just give a bit more breathing space above it, but not quite as spacious as it was. I'm also going to... Oh, I don't want that actually. So I'm going to add a logo in this section here. See if I can find a logo here. So we're going to cheat a little bit. Instead of having a logo, we're going to use a photo of a logo. And then we'll put that in a circular frame. Okay, so we've got that image in place. If we go to the settings again, let's put that into a circular frame. And we're going to deliberately make this smaller than the one below, because the focus really is on the profile picture here. And let's align this to the left-hand side. So we've got that straightforward alignment all the way through. I'm deliberately making it more compact now because it will hopefully make sense in a moment when I change it up. And I'm going to duplicate this. No, I'm not. Scratch that. Okay, nice and compact. I'm going to change this alignment of this text here to align to the middle. So we've got equal spacing above and below, because that was something that was missing there, but it's still looking too compact there. So let's go back into edit section. And this time we're going to focus on this gap or grid option here. So we can remove them completely, and that will allow us to double check that that's all fitting nice and compact. And if we click on these three dots, we can now manually choose the gaps in between the blocks. And the beauty of this is that this only works within this section. meaning it's completely independent of the other areas. So it means now that we can make sure that we've got the right breathing space to make our designs nice and spacious and really pop. Likewise, we can see that this is touching here, so we need to do the same horizontally. Notice how it's now reducing the size of the image. But there we go. So this would probably look better with an actual flat logo as opposed to an image, but hopefully that gives you an idea of how we can take this design and adapt it to this really quickly to match up with this. One thing we couldn't do straight out of the box here is that vertical pipe. That's crazily still not an option in Squarespace at the moment. I really wish they would add in vertical lines because we can do it with everything else. The one thing I haven't tried actually is whether we can do it with shapes. I don't believe we can apply a line. So the stroke option is new. If we change the fill color and remove that, just experimenting here, is there a way around it? No. We can change the thickness of the line, but we can't make it apply to an individual area. But whilst I've created that, let's use it. And I'll show you an alternative option. So if we duplicate this section, and let's move it down below the section so we're not getting confused between the different designs. I'm going to delete it on this one because I'm quite happy with that at the moment. And with this one here, let's do something slightly different and put this quote in the middle of a box. So I'm going to bring it in one, bring it down one, so it starts in there, and then we're going to use the space then around it to frame that. And we can bring this image to the front and see if we can add kind of like an overlap effect, essentially. Yeah, I'm not sure if I like it. But this, again, you're probably fed up with me saying it, but this is why I like Fluid Engine and Squarespace. It allows us to really play around with it. So that could work quite nicely if I can get that working there. So the logo sits over top of the top left-hand corner. It's not quite sitting there perfectly at the moment, but with a bit of fiddling and adjusting of the gutter spacing between each of the areas, we could probably get that to work. So it just shows how we can do more, take it another step. Yeah, that could work. Not so keen on this lack of space there between those sections, but that, again, is another design that we can add to our layout. Now, one question you may have at this stage is, how is this going to look on mobile? And the answer is, we can decide. I can reduce the size of this image, and if I was to do it properly, I'd have been better off editing the other one first before duplicating the design. So that I'm going to have to go and edit that one as well for mobile. Just bring that box down, make this smaller. It can be a little bit fiddly sometimes. I'm on a touchpad on a MacBook. Okay, that's looking okay there. If I can't access the text now, it's just a case of I need to move that line to the back. And one option I've got is I can adjust it to that line option. And instead of aligning it from the top, I can align it to the center. The only thing is, I think that will affect the desktop view as well. So we need to go and double check that. Most effects will not impact desktop view, but there are some, like, for example, the alignment of content in blocks. They used to. I don't know if they do currently. Let's have a look. So that's centrally aligned. No, it doesn't seem to affect it, so that's good. So if I go back to mobile now and adjust the height of this block, then put this to centrally aligned, we can finish the look of that design. And if we just go and tidy this one up as well while we're at it. Sometimes it will add extra space at the bottom of the content blocks, which is a case of removing that. And yeah, we're nearly there. If you're getting a little bit lost with this and you want some tutorials that cover the basics, I'd strongly recommend checking out our Website Builders channel on YouTube, because that's exactly what we do. We cover every single element or block that we can add into our sections. I also have tutorials explaining how sections differ from blocks and how they differ from pages. It's a work in progress, but currently we're nearly 100 videos on that channel for both Squarespace and Hostinger. We're going to be adding Wix in the autumn of 2024. And we want to build this up to a library of 300 tutorials like this ready at your fingertips. And if you want to take it a step further, we have both a free website builder community on School with a K, and we have a premium community for those looking to turbocharge their web design careers. All the information about everything is in the description. Check it out. Otherwise, I'll catch you next time. Cheers.